So, are we started?
No.
No, we're not. So, do this.
There you go.
Now we're started. Let's start off in hybrid mode.
Sure.
So, I'm here with my friend Patrick Byrne.
Yeah, I guess.
And he is a professional race car driver, but he's letting me drive for some reason. So we are in the SF90 Stradale with the Assetto Fiorano package. And how do we coax this thing into full hybrid? There we go. If it says ED,
you can right below the H is a ED button that you can press.
Okay, there we go. So now we're in full hybrid mode. This is wild. This is the first Ferrari that you could do this. You couldn't do this in the LaFerrari, or could you do?
It's a very, very small range.
Very small range, okay. So this is the first Ferrari that mere mortals can buy, because you can just go to a dealership and get this car. Unlike LaFerrari, which, you know, you had to be VIP of VIPs to get. And you could just cruise around. You can see it regenerating there. Charge as I lift, as I brake. And I know this isn't what you guys want to see, but I just think this is so cool. If we put into hybrid mode, then this is for sort of driving around town.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
It just keeps, I need to not reach onto that. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this not into race, but into qualifying mode, which gives us full use of everything. So now the hybrid system is not helping the environmentalists be happy, and it's helping me be faster. So again, with this GoPro in front of my face, and with this not being my car, and with it being $750,000, I'm not gonna cane this today. We're gonna take it a little bit easier. But just right off the bat, the driving position, the feedback that I'm getting from the suspension, the steering, you know, the steering itself, not getting a ton of feedback from it. I'm guessing it's a full electronic system, right?
It has a true steering rack in it. It's pretty electronic, but the assist is a lot less than some of the other cars.
Now, Ferraris have always had very light steering, and they're not known for having the most steering feel, but it's always been very direct and very quick. This is in line with that. So this is very much Ferrari steering, but it's refined to a new level. I have to say I'm a big fan of the way the steering wheel feels. The weight is just right. And the feedback I'm getting from everything, including these seats. So these are the carbon seats, which have to be, I feel like I've been saying this a lot lately, but these have to be some of the most comfortable carbon seats I've ever sat in. Like, they're really figuring out how to get this nice balance between carbon seats that like are lightweight, but also bolstered nicely, but also don't make you miserable. Because, you know, we spent like, you know, the better part of an hour just getting up here, and I feel great, you know? Probably should have accelerated there. We could try push a little bit here. Let's see what happens. Oh my god, the acceleration is just something else, and we're gonna watch out for that rock. And now the grip in this car is just well beyond, oh, full of rocks, well beyond anything I'd ever need. Oh my god. Think I give it something on this corner here. Yeah, it is just planted. And the steering is quick, so you don't need to give it much input. Obviously, this kind of car you want to be giving smooth inputs into. You don't want to be jamming throttle, brake, or steering angle. But my god, it is easy to drive smooth. Whew. This is in that realm of what I would call scary fast. And it feels fast, and that's such a big thing. So many of these cars just, you see the speed that you're going and you know it's fast, and maybe you're keeping up with your friends or you're losing them, but it doesn't necessarily feel that fast. But this car, it has, I mean, they have figured that out. Like, it's such an important thing. Who cares what the speedo's saying if it just feels like you're just flying through here? And there's so much more speed in this, but again, I wouldn't dare. And with a GoPro in front of my face, I can't see quite as much as I'd like. But this is for you guys. This is the sacrifices I make for you guys. Alright. Oh my god, it just doesn't stop. It does stop thanks to the brakes though. How large are the carbon ceramic brakes on here?
Like just over 50 inches, 15 and a half.
And you do need, this car weighs 3,400 pounds, so it is substantial. For a hybrid, that's very, very light. For 1,000 horsepower, that's very light. But you still have a lot of speed and enough mass to where you need brakes to contend with that. I'm guessing that the regenerative quality of the hybrid system also helps with the braking, right? You have some sort of engine braking there?
Correct, yeah. The electric motors can be run as like generators.
Right.
So backwards.
It's backwards generators. Or run them backwards to be generators.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Which is very clever. And I mean, it's how seamless. Is all. If you didn't know anything about this car, you wouldn't know what's going into it. I think that's sort of the benefit of being sort of at this point of hybrid systems, is that you don't necessarily want your customer to know that it's a hybrid system. And you wouldn't necessarily know that, especially not in this mode, that's a hybrid system. It just feels like a really fast, really well sorted car. I mean, we could be taking these cars so much faster, but we won't. I'm gonna behave. But yeah, this is something else. This is that next level. I mean, driven a lot of cars. I've driven a lot of cars up here. We're gonna slow down for this guy here, but this has to be one of the best things I've ever driven. This is phenomenal, and for reasons I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expected to be so transparent, to feel so much just like it's, you know, the trick that it pulls is making you think that it's just the engine doing all the work. And you have these like systems that are relatively seamless, that are keeping everything in check. They're keeping the insane amount of power of torque in check. But ultimately, if the experience feels to where if you on this car and you drove it, you would never assume that this is a hybrid. I think that's the amazing trick. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it's a step up from anything they've built. That's incredible, and they built some incredible cars.
This is a good corner here. I mean, you feel the road, you feel the bumps. The car is telling you what's going on.
I didn't understand what you said.
The only thing is this voice command keeps trying to have a conversation with me. But
Could you better explain the request, please?
cancel. Wow. I mean, this is what I would call too much speed. And the speed is not the thing that's impressing me the most about this. I mean, it's really cool. Speed is great, and it's a cool party trick, and you will have fun. But just the way this thing feels on a road like this, the way it's taking these corners, the amount of confidence that it gives you as a driver, like, that is something that I've been missing from a lot of cars. people always talk about how driving a Ferrari is an emotional experience, and like that's what it is. And these are things that a stat sheet will never tell you, you know? These are the things that you just have to go out and drive it. If you're fortunate enough to get behind the wheel of one of these things, it's just, it really defies description. It's something that can't be quantified by a quarter-mile time or even like lateral grip on a skid pad. How do you feel when you're driving it? How do you feel when you're taking a corner? How fast does it feel? I'm gonna chill out for these guys here while I go on my little rant.
Yeah, very well said.
But I think this has been the challenge. This has been my worry with hybridization and electric cars, is that we're gonna lose this connection, and it's gonna become about this cold war of stats. And in an interesting way, this still wins. This still does that. But I'm not concerned. I don't care how much horsepower this has. I'm not going to use all of that, and you probably shouldn't either unless you're on a racetrack. But what you have is always usable and accessible in a way that isn't scary. That's an amazing thing to achieve. It's there. You have the headroom. But some cars make you feel like if you're not tapping into that, you're missing out. This one, the best cars that I've driven, they feel like they're your buddy going for a ride, kind of like how we're going for a ride, and you're just down for whatever. It's like, we're gonna go fast, we're gonna go slow, we're gonna be in traffic, whatever, it's all good. We're going for a drive, we're having a good time. That's how to sum up how I feel. This is a car, this car, as intimidating as it is, and as intimidating as it should be for the amount that it costs, it just feels like it's your buddy and it just wants to go for a drive. I would take this for a drive everywhere. I would be driving this all the time. I'd be taking this to places that are absolutely unreasonable to take this, because I would just be like, yeah, I gotta go for a drive with my buddy, you know? I mean, really just something else. You can always add a little bit of speed on this. It's a fun one. Chill out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely blown away. I gotta say, phenomenal job, Ferrari. I was a bit of a skeptic. I wanted to be hard on this car. I think a lot of people, stop it, a lot of people wanted to be hard on this car. It's very easy to hate on a hybrid, especially if you're the older generation, and you know, it just seems like an absolute travesty to the philosophy of Ferrari. But the implementation is undeniable. And if the car puts a smile on your face, who cares what goes into it? Anyways, that's my little rant. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna take this thing off my head so I can see what's going on. Later, guys.